starting soon. Oh, what's up with you?
Hey, girl. Hey. I was like,
Happy
oh,
Wednesday.
happy Wednesday. I forgot you had said, Tiff, you got engineer. I said, yep. And then I'm like,
And then you sitting there looking at me, so I'm like, I'm gonna go on and get it done because she not about to touch not a nail button over here. It's
I'm
cool. It's
back.
cool.
Here we go. Welcome to the Hustle and Shine podcast, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen. Jen,
welcome, Jims and Gents. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Get in here. Get in here. I'm not as tired tonight as y'all can see. I've definitely come with a bit more energy, ready for a conversation. So I hope y'all are ready to engage with us in the comments. Y'all already know what to do. It's the same thing you have to do every week. Go share this live. Go ahead and tag your friends, tag your gyms, tell them to get in here. We have some things to say tonight. Tiffany prepared a super dope topic. I wish I could take credit for it. It is all hers. She did it all by herself because I have been focused on what?
Pressure weekend.
I've been focused on pressure weekend, people. Okay. So I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the time, but Tiff, being our new CEO, stepped in and planned tonight's show and last week's show. So we're really excited to dive in. While y'all are doing your invites and your shares and your likes and your follows and all the things y'all are supposed to do, we just gonna chop it up until y'all get in here, and then we'll start the show a little after 8, like we normally do.
All right. In the meanwhile, I'm down here and I am sharing. Let me lower that down. I'm going to share the live because how dare I tell y'all to share it and then I'm not sharing it. So yes, do that.
Do the pot.
Here we go.
Mhm.
We sharing it to
Yeah.
face.
Exactly. Y'all know what to do. If you're here for the first time, go ahead and drop a number 1 and a diamond so that we know that you are here for the first time. If you are a diamond in the building, you know to show love, drop some diamonds. And if you are a repeat, right? If you are a gem that frequents the Hustle and Shine podcast, that you are normally with us live on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, go ahead and drop the replay button and a diamond. We would love to see the activity in the chat.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, so those are going to start coming in soon. I'm seeing the numbers go up as who's viewing with us. So we got a very juicy topic tonight. This is one that is near and dear to my heart. Some of you have witnessed it over the past few years, and it is called conflicted confidence, right? Conflicted confidence. I want that terminology to roll around in your heads a little bit. I want y'all to start thinking about what is she talking about? That's
What's
such
she
an
talking about?
conflicted confidence. Like how? Because of course, you know, I had to get a definition for the team, for the people, of what it is that I'm talking about.
No,
Um,
don't define it yet, cuzzo.
chat. Because first, we gotta get into how my cousin here blew my whole mind, right? My whole mind. So people say I look like her, and I think so too. If I drink enough, I squint and I take my glasses off. But I have been told that the girlfriend Alicia Keys here, ever since she was I keep on falling. Yes, back in the day, and it got great in today.
You know what?
Cousin was like, "Oh, did you hear about Alicia?" I said, "No. What did I miss?" And then she just told me something that blew my mind. Cousin, tell the people what you told them.
Okay, now here's the thing. This is alleged, but there's about 30 different social platforms sharing the alleged rumors of divorce that Alicia Keys has filed for divorce from her husband, Swiss Beats, of what is it, 10 years, right? Didn't they just make a decade a couple of weeks ago?
Something like that.
Because allegedly he had a baby outside of the marriage, and she's ready to go. And so, look, here's the thing that blew me in the comments. Everybody's like, oh, well, you know what they say, the way you get them is the way you'll lose them, and all of these different things. I ran to the comments section to just say this. It is about to be some fire music. Okay. If this is true, we about to get a really dope album from her, and I am excited. And I know that sounds mean because I never want to wish anyone a broken heart. I never want anyone. I don't want to celebrate anyone's pain from infidelity, from embarrassment, any of those things. But I can't lie to y'all. There's something. we get done dirty, that our pen just write differently. Like our, I don't know, we've had enough soul tie music. Okay, we got enough of the soul tie music. We're tired of that. We need some like, I went through something and now I'm on the other side music. So I'm hoping Alicia is the one to give it to us, because we ain't never getting another album from Rihanna. Rihanna keep having babies. Gave up.
Listen, she happy right now. We gonna leave her. We gonna leave her and them babies happy. But
Exactly.
coming off the tail end of that comment about a fire album that's spawned by heartbreak, Cardi putting out bars, and the one that I'm sitting here like, Cardi a flop. My flop and your flop are totally different. If you did my flop, you'd be winning. If I did your flop, I'd be jumping out of planes. What?
Yeah. I'm just saying, there's something. Listen, there is something about that season of life for women, right? It causes us to go deeper inward, and we pull a lot out. And so, again, I hope the rumors aren't true. I hope that, they can work through whatever marital discourse they're currently experiencing. But if it is true, I'm telling y'all now, I'm going to be the first one ready to download whatever music comes from this life experience for her. Yeah, it's unfortunate though. So you, in return, in the spirit of mind blowing information, you shared something with me that I was not aware of. Tell the people in case they don't know either.
So we out here in the United States of this here, America, holding lawmakers hostage in Texas. Texas lawmaker Nicole Collier has been held at the state capitol for a little over 24 hours because she refused to sign this permission slip or whatever that was presented to the lawmakers to make sure that they came back and returned to work, so that this quorum or whatever it is that needs to happen, so that the voting, what do they call it? The voting sections of Texas get realigned and all this other stuff. So if y'all are following U.S. politics right now, which you should, doesn't matter which party you do or do not align with, but you should be following politics because it will impact us all. Texas is trying to realign some ballots and some polling stations or whatever it is. And it's going to be in favor of more Republican representatives in the Senate. Therefore, and yeah, they holding our girl because she said, no, I'm not signing this. I'm not signing to have state troopers follow me around all over the place. I'm not signing for y'all to, and so they are now holding her person hostage. She is not allowed to leave the Texas state Senate. Yeah. Because that's where we are right now with Thanos and crew.
That's craziness. That is, I mean, there's really nothing you can say, because at this point, saying and doing like what? Like what's gonna happen? You get what I'm saying? Like it's I have no comments on it that wouldn't steer us down a completely different path for tonight's show. So yeah.
Well, I'm hoping y'all all are following the conversation that's happening, because these are just breadcrumbs that are leading into the main topic tonight of conflicted confidence. And the next one I want to move forward with is Amanda Seales and Surrounded, Amanda versus 20 Conservatives. That's been another one that's been trending on social media. And I've been following Amanda since I came across her watching Insecure. Of course, there's all the personal things between her and her co-stars and all those other things there. However, leading into the, I guess I'm going to say the 2020 elections and everything from there, Amanda became very vocal about her political affiliations, what she thought, She was definitely one of the people who was not on the bandwagon of let's just vote for Kamala because she's a Black woman and all these other things. But she was like, no, we need to hold all of these Democratic, all of these Republicans, all of these independents. Everybody needs to be held accountable. And so she did a show called Surrounded, where it was her and 20 conservatives debating political topics. And I'm gonna say she left no crumbs on the table. She was letting them know. And one of the things that I appreciated the most about what it was that she was saying is there were points in time where she acknowledged that both her and her opponent were on the same side of the argument. And the one in particular was a conservative. I believe he came out of California. He was stating that he was tired of Republicans winning elections on the backs of Black people. Like they bring them out anytime it's an election year, and you know they tote them around and
Democrat,
and yeah, all of these. Did I say Republican?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, they do. The point of the matter is, I apologize for misspeaking. He was saying Democrat, but she said, and they all do, and they all do, because we got Blacks for Trump, you got the Democrat, and so what she was saying is, it's not a matter of who you align yourself with politically, if what it is that they are doing is in your best interest. And at this point in time, none of the parties are operating in the best interest of the people.
No.
And yeah.
I mean, so I didn't indulge in the entire show. I did watch reels and clips like everybody else does. And of course, it could just be rage bait for the reels and clips that I caught. But I feel like I think she had really strong points, but there were parts of her delivery that I think she could have worked on. A lot of it was emotionally charged. I think that she kept raising her voice and insulting people instead of improving her argument. And I think that's why so many people discredit her in the realm of politics, right? Like when you, not to compare them, but when you hear someone like Angela Rye speak, Angela Rye uses a lot of euphemisms and colloquialisms and a lot of slang. However, you cannot deny that she knows how to stay reserved and she knows how to listen to the other person. I felt like in the clips that I saw, she just kept jumping out there, cutting them off. And so it's like, well, how much are you responding to? You didn't listen to a whole lot. And that's just my, that was just my take on it. Because again, I'm an active listener. You cannot communicate effectively and influence anyone's thinking if you have not heard how they think. So a lot of what she was trying to address and get people to change the way they think and come to the other side of the table, but you didn't have a full view of what they felt, thought, or said because you weren't listening. And I think that she was a representation of exactly what happens in politics. We just come to the table ready to argue our point when we've never actually shut up long enough to hear what the other party or the other person or the other, representative has to say. And I think that's a mistake that so many people make in politics, in business, in ministry, and in all human interaction. So overall, though, I do agree with a lot of what she said, but I think had she been an active listener, she would have had an even stronger response because she would have been able to include rebuttal to what they were actually saying. But she listened to certain points and then was like, no, because, and I'm like, girl, if you don't take all that emotion out, no one's going to listen to you because you're not listening to them. So anyway, that was my take on it. But I do like the idea of what she's doing. I like the idea of the show. I do like the shift and the pivot in her content. I think in my mind, I've always viewed her as Tiffany from Insecure. So I always viewed her as a spoiled AKA with like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I loved her character on Insecure. So I never really saw her as anything else. So this really did give me some different perspective on how she thinks outside of her acting. So yeah, I thought that was dope. All right, we gave the people 15 whole entire minutes to get in the room. If you're not here, catch the replay, no problem. But we would love to see you in the chat. Make sure that if you agree with something, disagree with something, have a question about something, have a concern, want us to go deeper, want us to define it, drop it in the comments. That is where we engage. If you wait till after the show and then send us an email, we'll likely respond, but probably not. Okay. This is where we engage with you. This is where we respond. So we would much rather hear your opinions and your thoughts right here live on the show. All right, Cuzzo, this is your show. I'm just going to chime in. So you kick it off. Go ahead.
My show, yes, we're discussing tonight conflicted confidence. Conflicted confidence is the intersectionality of where your confidence in yourself and your ability to hold court, be able to walk into rooms and spaces and command those spaces. But at the same time, someplace else, there is an insecurity in you that shows up. And so the conflicted confidence is that center of the Venn diagram where that overlap happens. And I think the reason that it aligned up for us to do this show, but then Tima and I came to the table where our playful banter with these three stories of Alicia and infidelity and a possible outside baby and divorce, with Nicole Collier and where she's standing on her business and on her morals and what she believes in. And now Amanda, and how Amanda shows up as she speaks politically about and against, things that are happening. Mm-hmm. There's conflicted confidence there, I'm sure, amongst all three of those brilliant women in their own way, where confidently Alicia can walk on a stage, and sing her heart out. Some people said Swiss took her voice like, Ursula did Ariel. Oh, like
that's cool.
I'm just repeating what I was reading in the comments after the Super Bowl performance, and the note was sour when she was performing with Usher. But the point of the matter is, there are times and places and spaces, and we are all honest with ourselves, where we're just a little insecure, even in spaces where we should be secure. Uh-huh. And for me, the story is being promoted within TGI to this CEO position, right? I have realized that I have helped multi-billion-dollar organizations earn money, have been recognized by these organizations for my leadership, constantly, giving credit in my current workspace for the things that I do. And yet there is a small part of me who is very nervous about taking on this role, but also being able to get up in a couple of weeks and stand in front of a room of gems and gents and tell them my story and let them know, like, hey, you too could do this. How am I going to be able to tell a room full of people that they too could do this, where sometimes I'm sitting here waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under me, for the mask to come down and somebody to go, we knew she was fake. We knew she was phony. She couldn't do it. These are the internal conversations that I have with myself. Ergo, many times when we're on this platform right here, I am confident in what it is that I'm saying, but somewhere deep down inside, I'm like, somebody's going to call you out for a fraud. This is why I take so many notes when we're talking, because I want to be able to have my resources and be able to pull up my receipts. Mm-hmm. So, conflicted confidence. Yeah. I'm not here by myself with that one. And
it's interesting, because if you remember when you first shared the topic, I had the huge question mark, like, like what does this mean? And then when you brought more context and you gave it more color and more language, I was like, okay, I know exactly what she's talking about. And so what I wanted to bring to the conversation first, before I get started with my opinions and my thoughts, is help people to kind of understand where they can recognize it in themselves, similar to what you just did. Conflicted confidence can also be known as imposter syndrome. It can be known as ego. I don't think people realize ego really is just pseudo confidence. Conflicted confidence is both the presence or the coexistence of confidence and uncertainty, confidence and doubt. confidence and fear. And that is something many of us have experienced. Um, whether it's a challenging situation or whether it's in, Tiffany's case, having to step into a new role, one that she's already been operating in, but now the title adds a different layer of responsibility and accountability because she's already been doing this. She's already been serving in this space. And so I'm gonna come to your question, Ivory. That's a dope question, and I'd love to answer that. But just to finish my thought, I think where you can look at yourself and say, where have I actually experienced conflicted confidence? It's likely in a relationship. You know, confidently, you are ready to date, but your insecurities about weight gain or your insecurities about the standard of beauty currently being BBL and facelifts, right? You're like, do I even measure up to these women? And so the part of you that confidently wants to date and try again, and then the doubtful part of you that's like, am I ready for real? Is someone going to want me? Am I desirable? That is a conflict. And so if you know the word conflict, then you understand it's usually two things at war, two things fighting for the dominance, two things fighting for the power, two things fighting to be first. And that's literally all conflicted confidence is. There's something conflicting your ability to push yourself forward in a confident state. And the reason why we found this important to talk about, because I think when we talk about healing and we talk about the healing journey and we talk about, all the things that you need to focus on that, we never really take a deep dive into rebuilding your confidence. A lot of your confidence gets shattered, crushed, broken, and for some of us is obsolete because of the pain, the trauma, the drama, and the hurt that we've experienced. It is often suppressed, shadowed, all the things y'all can think of. And
Mhm.
so we want to do better at not just building you up spiritually and not just building you up mentally. We want you to have more confidence in yourself physically and energetically. And so that's what we hope that this conversation will do. We'll introduce you back to your confident self. And it takes more than just one podcast episode. It takes more than just one conversation, but we think this is a great start. So, Cuzzo, I'd love for us to pause and address Ivory's question. And hey, Ivory girl, hey, let's answer her question. I want you to go first, though.
Can they both exist? Yes. And that's where I pulled the term intersectionality from, because it is the intersection of where this and that meet at the same time. Yes, you can have someone who is brilliant business wise, right? And I'm going to describe a person, and this is any person, but if someone comes to your mind, it is purely by coincidence. I am not putting a label on anybody, but somebody who is brilliant in business, they can excel and invest and take a dime and flip it time and time again, but they end up in some of the crummiest relationships. They do not have good engagement with their own family. They might even be a bad friend. But put them in front of a boardroom, put them in front of some stakeholders, and they are on the flip side of that. You have someone who is an outstanding parent, someone who is dedicated to community service, someone who is active in the church or whatever, all of these personal things, right? But professionally, they can't hold down a job. They can't make their ends meet. They can't, and that's where it is. And it all starts, I'm going to say, with the planting of a seed in childhood, in impressionable ages, right? Done a lot of hours of therapy, done been through plenty of books, journaling, right? The reason it took me so long to find my voice as a speaker and be confident when I speak is because as a child, I was told to be quiet. I talk too much. from first grade through 12th grade, if my mother attended a parent-teacher conference, the teachers would always say, Tiffany is a lovely student to have in the classroom. She contributes to the conversation in class. Her work is this. There were two things that they would always say. She could be better if she would apply herself. And she talks too much.
Yeah.
A student who is doing their best and being told you could do better if you apply myself. What?
Yeah.
So you think I just wake up and get these hard B's?
Yeah.
Remember the Cosby Show, and they were talking with Denise about the easy A's and the hard C's. I was getting some hard C's, and all the teacher can say is apply yourself and stop talking. And you end up with someone who, in public spaces where they are actually paid to talk, will shake, voice will crack, tears will fall. Like they're about to.
No, because you may and look, because you already know this is a safe space. We do what we want on this show. But you make such a great point in that a lot of what breaks, shatters, or shakes our confidence stems from something we experienced in childhood. Because none of us come out of the womb fearful. Like we're fearless. Like
exactly.
I remember my kids used to do the wildest stuff, and I'm like, yeah, they're not afraid of nothing. But as they get older, they're much more timid. They're much more hesitant. They're much more reserved. And that's because that is taught, that is caught, that is influenced through environment and society and the belief systems and values of other people. So I want to answer Ivory from my point of view, and then I have something I want to share with everybody, because y'all know we do homework. We study to show ourselves approved. We got facts over here for y'all, okay? You're so welcome, Ivory. She says, thank you. That helped with clarity. One of the things I wanted to acknowledge in terms of confidence and something coexisting in the same space, the reason why that's possible is because there have been instances in my life, and I'll always pick on Tima, no one else, where my conflict or my discomfort actually built my confidence. It forced me to push myself. You know, a lot of people say things like, oh, nothing grows in the comfort zone. That's not true. And I would love for y'all to stop quoting stuff that ain't true, because actually a lot grows in comfort zones, right? When you think about a child, we keep our children very comfortable. And guess what they do? They grow. Okay. I am a plant parent. One of the conditions that my plants need to grow and be nourished is comfortability. So we should stop saying that. Okay. That's another topic for another day. But my point is, when I was conflicted with a challenge or the intersectionality of confidence and something, usually I had a choice. I can shrink and run and hide, or I can push myself past whatever is keeping me from being more confident. And then I would emerge in that space. And then guess what? Never looked back again. And so I can conquer public speaking. I can conquer presentations. I can do those things because I push beyond the whatever the other thing was. So yes, things can coexist in the same space. Something I wanted to share that I prepared in my study notes is there are 4 different types of confidence, according to, corporate America, speaker platforms. Like, everybody has like these isms and things that they believe. I'm not saying that this is Bible, but this is, what we've learned in this space that we're in, Tiffany and I are in, that there are 4 types of confidence. So there's unwarranted confidence. And that's pretty much a belief in your ability or knowledge isn't supported by actual evidence or skill, right? So the unwarranted confidence, like my kid will float at the pool and then tell me she can swim. And I'm like, no, because if I put you in the ocean, you'd likely drown. You can float here at the pool. So that gives her this unwarranted confidence because she's floating without falling or drowning. She now thinks she can apply this everywhere in every body of water. And it's just not true, right? So that's that unwarranted confidence. Then you have temporary confidence. That's a fleeting feeling of self-assurance that is context dependent. meaning I'm confident to walk in the room full of women if everybody is around the same age and same body type as me. But if I walk in a room and it's some like, super baddies, Instagram bodies, BBL works, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I might have to throw this jacket on real quick. That's that temporary confidence. Depending on the context, the setting, depending on who I'm gonna be around, who all over there, that will determine how confident I'm gonna be in that space or in that situation. Then there is confidence. Oh, that's funny. Say that 5 times fast. That's a belief in one's skills and abilities that is based on prior success, mastery of a particular domain, or history of positive performance. Everybody knows I've been in HR forever, right? So when I walk into a space where I have to show up as HR teamer, there is no doubt. Like I'm very competent, okay, as an HR practitioner. But if you ask me to walk into a room with the same level of confidence as a publisher or as a writer or as a speaker, as a mother, I don't know. I don't know because I don't have a proven track record in those areas. I'm not as sharp and as skilled in those spaces yet as I am in HR. And then the last one, they call it meta confidence. Now, I'm not talking Facebook and Instagram. Meta confidence is metacognitive confidence, and it's a person's belief in the accuracy of their own knowledge and judgments. So you ever see people on a podcast, and a dude is just swear he know women so well, and he telling the whole world how we all are, how we all think, like how we sleep, how we wake up, how we beat our faces, because he just know. That is that metacognitive confidence. Like he just believes so strongly in his experiences with women that he can deem himself as a relationship expert for women. That is what that meta confidence is. So with that said, Cuzzo, go ahead, because I know you want to chime in on some of those. Yeah, shots fired. Pow, pow, pow.
And again, any resemblance to anyone in particular is purely coincidence, because we're not talking about anybody specifically unless we say ourselves, because we are not pointing any fingers at anyone. When we sit here,
last one I was a little bit, but go ahead.
when we get raw and gritty, we're really talking about our own selves and our own experiences. Yes. And yes, I have to agree with that one, the point that you were making about Natima, the HR professional. I can walk in and handle all these things, but when I get into these other spaces, maybe not so. And so when I was creating the description of what we were going to be discussing, I said, this is beyond faking till you make it, right? We were just at Black Writers Weekend in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to tell you, as somebody from the outside looking in, but who has a closeness and a proximity to Natima, I didn't witness her doing that as she floated from table to table, introducing TGI, the books, the journals, all of those things there. I did not witness that, right? And this is one of the things where that's where the conflicted confidence comes at, because she knew what she was feeling on the inside as she walked around the room and everything like that. But she was exuding confidence and comfortability in the space that she was in. Wow. And I want that to be the segue into the next topic, which is going to be when the insecurities spill over. Because
let's talk about it.
Because like I said, where mine came from being told something, right? Being taught this. How many of us know that we teach little people and younger impressionable people things more with our actions than with our words? So it is very well possible to teach insecurity without even knowing that you're doing it. And that comes up in self-doubt, when we're talking out loud and we speak negatively into ourselves, or even when we have like decision paralysis. Do you want to know how much anxiety comes up in my body when I am asked, what do I want to eat? It is not that I'm sitting here and I want to be difficult. I'm actually sitting here, first of all, rolling the Rolodex of options through my mind, just like spinning the wheel on Wheel of Fortune, like, let's see where it lands. But I'm also like, what if the person who's asking me doesn't want tacos, but I want tacos? But if they say they don't want tacos, then I'll be like, okay, we can have chicken or burgers. But do I want chicken?
You're hilarious. Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
talking to somebody here. So we got people who are watching the episode, and I just need to know, who am I speaking for in these conversations? I had such a anxiety episode. One of my coworkers was like, oh, let's get some ice cream. And we were doing it as a group order. And I was the last person, and she handed me the phone, and I was like, and just overwhelmed beyond the 31 choices that Baskin Robbins could give you. Like, did you want this flavor? Did you want it in a waffle cone? Did you want it in a banana boat? Did you want it with sprinkles? Did you want it with what kind of sprinkles? Are you lactose intolerant? Do you need it to be soy based? I was like, by the time I finished ordering this thing, it was enough for me and my two daughters who were visiting me that day at work to eat. But I just started cooking stuff, because if not, I'd have been sitting there with a vanilla cup for me to decide what. I really had paralysis in making a decision, so I made all the decisions.
Mm. Mm.
It was delicious, but it was 2 billion calories.
But think about how many people live their life like that, like everyday life like that, like exactly as you just described. Because I cannot make one decision, I'm going to make all the decisions. Like that's insane. And you talked about, when insecurity spills over. Like one of the hardest I've had a lot of hard conversations with my therapist. Shout out to her. But one of the hardest conversations I had with her was when she told me that perfectionism is a form of insecurity. I wanted to like jump out my chair and choke her. Like, what? I've been a perfectionist my entire life. What are you talking about that it's insecurity? I thought that was the one part of my life that wasn't on my insecurity list. And so as she went deeper and really helped me to understand it, and of course, y'all know I wrote it down, right? That's what I do. All right. First of all, she taught me that insecurity is really just the security in deficit, meaning there is a lack of security. You lack the secure feeling in your beauty. You lack the security in your health and your wealth. That's really all insecurity is the lack of something, right? In that particular area. So when I asked her, well, how can perfectionism be an insecurity? This is what she told me. She said, insecure individuals may set impossibly high standards for themselves, believing that they are not perfect, that they are worthless. So your pursuit of perfectionism becomes a vicious cycle where you never feel satisfied with accomplishments because you're always focused on the shortcoming. So even though I've earned 1 degree and could have been proud of that, I had to go get 4 and rack up 4 degrees worth of student loan debt. That's perfectionism, which is a form of insecurity, because I still felt worthless even with the degree I had achieved. And so the more she taught that, the more I realized that is exactly what perfectionism was. It was my insecurity, but coexisted with my confidence, because the more degrees I got, the more confident I felt. But my insecurity and my need to be perfect would kind of counter, what's the word I'm looking for? It was counterproductive, right?
Mhm.
And so anyway, I shared all that to say, a lot of us think insecurity is just low self-esteem or just fear and anxiety. No, insecurity is literally constant criticism of yourself. It's constantly feeling like you lack something, like something's missing in your life. Oh, you've achieved all of these things, but because you don't have a man, you are still insecure because you feel like that thing would make you complete. And there are so many other examples that we can talk about in future episodes, but I just wanted to share the one with perfectionism, because as a recovering perfectionist, it is really important that I help other perfectionists out there, because it really kept me from being present in my life, enjoying my life, and letting go of insecurities. So you're not going to heal from the insecurities until you acknowledge exactly what they are. So we hear, like I said, about low self-esteem. Yes, that's one. We hear about fear and anxiety. Yes, that's another. But what are some other ones? Are you constantly comparing yourself to people? That's an
Mhm.
insecurity. Are you constantly joyless? You have no joy? That's an insecurity. And the list goes on, which we'll be happy to share with y'all. So yeah. Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, Ivy is in the chats tonight, and besides thanking for the clarity when we were explaining how the two can exist together, she says, Natima, that was very helpful. I want to look into this more. This just happened tonight with my daughter. So Ivy, tonight's episode was created with you in mind, and we didn't even know it. And we want to thank you for saying, like, hey, I'm like, this episode is for me. This
Mhm.
episode is for someone. There's no way that a seed gets planted in my head and my heart that this is a conversation that we need to have, and it's not meant for someone to hear
Somebody.
it.
Mhm.
So don't be selfish. Make sure you're sharing this. All right. Tagging some people in it, because there's somebody out there who needs to hear the message that we are sharing tonight. And again, this is TGI. This is Hustle and Shine with the Diamond Writers. And this is a safe space for you to be vulnerable and walk away with some tool that's going to make tomorrow better. So thank you for coming into the chat with that.
Yeah.
So, on the note of you saying, like, this was the conversation that you were having with your therapist, therapy, they gonna always have us have a journal, have us have a book or whatever, right? So one of the combatants to dealing with this insecurity and this lack of confidence is something called a confidence log. And this is basically a journal. It could be something digitally that you keep in your phone, in your notes app. Maybe you put them on your calendar, but you're basically going to start keeping a record of your wins, big and small. It doesn't matter what it is. Hey, got up out of bed and made the bed. Win. Um, made my breakfast at home and my coffee, saved $50 today, win, whatever it is in your win column, note that. So that when that insecurity creeps up on you, when the little voice pops into your head that says you're not worthy, then that's when you whip out your journal and you start reading, like, hey, I am a winner. I
Mhm.
did do this. It was recently that my job closed out our fiscal year, and we had to look at our work plans for the year so that we could see what we did, what we didn't do. And of course, we've had regular check-ins and everything like that. But when I sat with my director and we looked at the work plan and we like, yep, we did that. Yep, we did that. Yep, we did that. I was like, oh, wow. Because in all honesty, I'm like, what did I do? Wait. And I can rattle off a good, handful of things, but this was a weighted document that said, hey, this is what we did. And as someone who is in HR, like Natima, you always got to stay poised and ready. I'm like, I'm going to take my work plan and I'm going to go add some new things to my resume. I need to go add some new things to my one pager. And this is how I started feeling more confident stepping into this role of CEO here at TGI, because it's like, girl, you can do this. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, you need to add another bullet point to what it is that you do, because you can be a business consultant doing the things, because you are literally sitting here right now for the last 5 years helping the team build a business. Oh, I am.
Yeah.
But you don't
Yeah.
do that until you start really taking a note of it. So yes,
That's
that's
so good.
get you a journal. Save you something. Just smart with your smartphone.
Yes, we love journaling. We are always going to encourage that. Absolutely. So I think we have one more topic and then we have to drop some gems, drop some reminders because we have some things coming up that we need people to show up for. And then we're gonna give them back their night because honey, I got a call. Y'all already know. I have a call. Okay. I got a call at 9 o'clock. I got.
All right. So reflections and reframing. So we're not going to come here and point out a problem, tell you what the problem looks like, and then just leave you there. Now we got to help you reframe it. And so starting with the journal is a good way to work on it. But now we need to reframe our thoughts. We need to reflect more on what this impact has had on us, but also in our communities, in the spaces that we show up with. So Natima, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you walk into the spaces and you might not feel your securest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that you can do in the moment to help you reframe and refocus back and get back to Tima from Queens, just a queen from Queens. Look
All right. So first of all, I think the example that you used earlier was perfect. When we were at the Black Writers Weekend, right? We attended that event. We were super excited to be in the room with all these other authors. Um, I began to look around the room at their booths and their, installation activation, excuse me. I began to look at their products and their book covers. And immediately I started shrinking. Immediately I started to shrink. And so Tiffany referenced how I walked around the room and introduced myself to people. And the reason I was able to do that is because one of the things that I learned in therapy and I learned about myself when I am confronted with an opportunity to either step up and step into confidence or retreat into cowardness and just pretty much cower from a situation is really starting with assessing my triggers. What is triggering my insecurity? What is causing cloud in my confidence? Like what's causing me to shrink? Once I do that, the next thing I do, and I wrote all of this down so that I can share this with you tonight. The next thing I do is like acknowledge my negative self-talk by challenging it. So why do I feel like their book covers are better than mine? Why do I feel like their booths are better than mine? Why, what is it about their stuff that has me questioning my own? And then once I pretty much get through like my negative self talk and my negative thoughts, I then step into the space and take up space. Like I decided instead of sitting here feeling insecure, I'm going to show everybody I'm in the room too. And that is what Tiffany witnessed as my confidence. But really, it was me forcing myself out of that insecure moment. I was like, I've worked too freaking hard to be in this room. I had been rejected 4 years prior to this year when I have applied to be at this event. I need to not just be in the room, I need to show people I'm in the room. And so that's when I started walking around, introducing myself to every single author in the room and purchased their books because that was not even for them. That was for me. That was to show me that not only do you belong here with them, but your product is just as good. Your writing is just as good and your support is needed. And we made so many contacts as a result. And I remember at one point, one of the ladies, one of the authors and the writers, she was hugging me and she was like, what did she call me, Cuzzo? A sun ray. She said, you are such
my insides happy.
yeah, she was like, you're a sun ray, SON ray. She's like, you are such an amazing representation of God. She's like, I can see your light and it's amazing. You make my insides happy. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And literally, when we embraced and then I pulled away from the hug, I was shaking. So I was doing it afraid. I was doing it scared because I needed to push myself past my own fear and insecurity. And so that to me is how you reflect and reframe because this memory could be completely different. It could be I sat in the corner at my booth hoping people would walk over and speak to me and they never did. I sat at the booth expecting folks to come and introduce themselves to me and buy my book and they never did. But you know why other authors came to our table and bought our books? because we was at their tables first. We was introducing ourselves and buying their stuff first. And so that's what drove all of that traffic to our table. And I'm not making this up. Tiffany can testify, and other people that were there in the room can testify. Tiffany and I were two of the most popular people in that room, simply because we made sure we went and connected with everybody. So our table was popping for that reason. But on the inside, Tima was like, "Oh, I can't wait till this day is over." So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Cuzzo.
It sure did. And appreciate that. Plus, we were bright and bubbly in a sea of black tablecloths that we were with our pink.
So true. So true. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This lady came, she said, I had to come over here and see what all this pink was about.
And the diamonds. They love the diamonds all over the table too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna say, in answering my own question about reframing, we are not meant to be like complete projects, right? There is no like, ta-da, I put the last puzzle piece in and now I see the whole thing, right? Yeah. We're meant to grow and expand and learn every day. So yes, while we're sitting here and we have our confidence journal, we're noting all of our wins, there are going to be losses. There are going to be opportunities from growth. The reframing is, what do I learn from this? What did I learn from this? What am I going to take away from this? Mm-hmm. And referring back to our HR backgrounds, a question that is asked 99.99999% of times on an interview is, tell me about a time when, and what did you learn from it, right? If y'all didn't know, y'all need to have that right behind your elevator pitch about who you are in 30 seconds or less, right?
Yeah.
Because what we're looking to see is your ability to grow from your mistakes, your ability to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of times parents put children into little league and dance and swim and all these things when they're kids and they're younger, but then they put themselves in like the coach's position and they go over what the coach says and over what the director says. And it's like, what you're doing is you're raising an uncoachable child, and an uncoachable child becomes an unemployable adult.
Ooh, come on.
Because the child cannot take feedback and criticism, not disrespect, not judgment, but when it's coming from a coach or somebody who you sometimes pay a lot of money to have them do what they do, because if not, you would have been doing it yourself. When you put this person of authority in front of them and you come in and you try and take over what it is that they're saying, you're teaching your child that somebody other than you can't tell them something. So then you end up with adults in the workforce who don't know how to take feedback, who don't know how to take critique, who don't know how to take a boss, a manager, a director, somebody telling them, okay, I need you to fix this. What you mean fix? This is where that false confidence comes in at. You don't tell your child that whatever they do is perfect. It's right. No, we're never perfect. We're always taking. So I'm going to say, when it comes down to reframing, it's what lesson did I learn from this? When am I going to be able to, now that I learned this lesson, be able to share with somebody else? Because sometimes we go through stuff so that we could teach somebody else how not to go through it. So I'm about to start spitting gems and we ain't even there yet, but
you ready, you getting ahead. No, but that is so good. That is so good, Cuzzo. Because like you said, I think we teach folk confidence by really teaching children that they don't have to listen and that they're better than everybody else. And because that's our favorite line. If our children gets rejected from something or is excluded from something, we prop them up with this lie that, oh, it's because they're hating. Not everybody is your hater, but not everybody is a fan either. And so I absolutely love that. I love that call out. So look, we are at the end of the show. We are about to drop a gem drop some housekeeping and some announcements, and then we're getting out y'all way. Cuzzo, do you want to go first with your gym? Because of course mine has nothing to do with the show. It never does.
Um, hold on a second. I'm sitting here, I'm writing so much. I didn't think about the gym. Okay. My gym isn't going to have anything to do with what we're talking about tonight as far as conflicted confidence goes. My gym is going to have to do with learning something new. I am 50 years young, and I have decided that I'm going to spend 52 weeks, sharing my experiences and the things that I've learned in 50 years and what I plan on learning. I am signing up at my big old age to take swim classes so that I can learn how to swim. I love the water. I am a fire sign who is at peace in nature and by the water, but I can't swim my way out of a puddle. Can I dead man float? Absolutely. But like you said, I tried that in the oceans down in Bermuda and my behind almost got taken out to sea. So never be afraid to learn something new. Even at your age now, you can learn something new too.
Yes, I love that. All right now, cousin. 50 and fine. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So turns out what I wanted to share actually is relevant to tonight's topic. I didn't think it was at the time, but now that her and I have renamed and retitled the topic, I wanted to share this quote with you all that my therapist shared with me. So this is not my original thought. This is from my therapist. I don't know if she got it from someone, but pretty much she taught me that confidence is not the absence of fear, but the quiet courage to act in its presence. If fear was not present, we would have no need for courage. And courage is a form of confidence. And so I just wanted to share that with you because I know sometimes in Black church, and oh Lord help us, we mean well, but we love to say, don't have no fear, have faith. That is not opposites. Faith and fear are not opposites. And I know that's what people want us to believe, but they're not. And so I encourage you that if you feel fear, it's okay. Okay. You don't have to rebuke it. There's nothing wrong with it. Fear is a natural emotion, but push yourself in spite of fear to get what you need to get done. Don't allow it to have you anchored in a particular place in your past, and don't allow it to keep you from your future. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with feeling fear, because without it, we would have no need for courage, which produces confidence. So that is all I wanted to share from my gym tonight. I hope that it helped someone. I hope that it inspired someone, that the next time you have fear of doing something, do it anyway, and just watch how much more courageous you are. So, all right, with that said, we got some events coming up. Y'all listen, I'll say it nicely. I'm really, y'all know I like to tone down my New York accent and my New York vibes for this show. I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all better pull up on the 27th, okay? I am celebrating people. As I shared in a podcast interview I did that'll be airing soon, I am doing this event on September 27th, Diamonds on Blanc, to celebrate people who serve from the heart, not for the hearts. Okay. So I need y'all to come out and show them some love. They deserve these accolades. They deserve this celebration. They deserve these flowers. They deserve these beautiful trophies that TGI has invested in for them. It's not easy to serve, right? Everybody now throws a camera in other people's faces. Tell the world what I just did for you. And it loses its essence. It loses its authenticity and its sincerity. It becomes disingenuous. But these are people who serve year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day, hour after hour, serving strangers, serving people who sometimes forget to say thank you. They serve people who walk right past them a month later like they never knew them. And they still show up and they still pour and they still give. And so Tiffany and myself has created this event so that we can celebrate them. That's my 9 o'clock. I'm coming, boo. So that we can celebrate them. Okay. And so we want you in the room. Come applaud for somebody else. Share your applause for somebody else, because some of y'all are waiting for people to clap for you. and you ain't clapping for nobody, and that's why it hasn't happened yet. So show up in this room and celebrate other people, and let that be your karmic energy. Let that be the return that comes back. The other thing is, the very next day we'll be celebrating the Audacity author reception. That event is going to be super dope, super bright, and super 90s. So make sure that y'all show up in the room. We have multiple ticket tiers. So whatever your budget, you can be in the room. I promise you, there's a budget for everybody. Okay. So make sure that you're here. Both of those events happening in September here in Atlanta, Georgia. Go ahead and book your Airbnb. Go ahead and throw your flight on Klarna or Afterpay and get in the room. Okay. Tip, anything else?
Nope, that's all. It's been a pleasure sitting here with you. Just so that y'all know, Hustle and Shine for the remainder of the year has moved to a bi-weekly format. So we will not be here next week, Wednesday. However, tune in this Sunday at 6 p.m. for Behind the Pages with the Queen Pen. I'm not sure which author that she has on. You got to follow us, get on there and see what's happening. But until then, y'all know what y'all got to do. Queen, tell them.
Continue to hustle and shine. Good night, y'all.
Let's
go.
Let's go.